Hallo iedereen, welkom bij deze Q&A van de Pink Clouds. Hier samen met mij is hier Iuli Gerbase. Zij is dus regisseur met een debuut. We zijn heel benieuwd om een paar vragen te stellen in het Engels. En alvast bedankt om deze Q&A te volgen. Okay, hi Iuli, welcome. Very nice speaking to you. First question concerning the Pink Cloud. What was your inspiration to make this scenario, to make this very unique film?
So at first, my first idea was that I wanted to put this couple in this weird situation where they just met and their idea was just having a simple one-night stand, and then suddenly they had to be together in the same apartment without living for many years. And then after that, I was thinking about possibilities about what will make them stay for this long in an apartment. And I didn't want it to be too realistic, like, it's because of a war or something like that. And when the concept of this weird and mysterious cloud that kills you in 10 seconds, when I had this idea, it all made sense. I was excited about it. So I wrote the first script. The first treatment was very long because I think when you put limits narratively and on your writing and on your ideas, you can then try to make the best of it. And so I could list all the things that could happen inside an apartment with these two characters for a long time. So it was a good process writing it.
Yeah, and it's very much a coincidence that after you finished the scenario, a likewise scenario, luckily not as bad as the Pink Cloud, but the whole world was, attacked with a pandemic as well.
Yes, we shot in 2019. So I wrote I finished writing in 2017, and then we shot in 2019. So no one was thinking about COVID or any virus or pandemic. So it was very weird for us because we were editing when the pandemic started, and the whole crew was sending me messages all day saying, "Iuli, did you see this? It's just like our scene. What's happening? Our film is becoming reality." So it was very weird for us. And for the actors, they were like, I'm living all over again, all the feelings of being in confinement. So yes, but it was a huge coincidence. We didn't know.
Yeah. And what is the reaction of people in Brasilia on this film? What was your first reactions when it came out?
We didn't release in Brazil yet. We did Sundance and now Move and Sofia Film Festivals, other festivals that are not in Brazil because most of them are on the second semester. But the people from the crew that has seen it and the actors, they were amazed by it because even for us, it is weird watching the film. We knew the screenplay, we knew what was going to happen, but when you hear the lines and when you watch the scenes after having our own confinement, it was weird for everyone. It was we really saw the future together there.
Wow. Yeah. And I can imagine you were very close with the characters, with the two actors. Can you tell a bit about the casting process? Because it's really two actors. You're very close, focusing on these two. So they're very prominent. They're always there. They have to be really good actors. And they're also very different.
Yes, from the beginning I knew that the acting on this film was very important. I think it's always important, but in this film we had these two characters all the time and a lot of scenes with them and a lot of dialogue. And so as I said, it was very important, this casting. And these two actors, they were with me even before we get the funding. They were invested in this in this project. And I knew them both before. I worked with them in shorts that I directed before the Pink Cloud, and they knew each other very well. They had done theater plays together, so it was great that we had intimacy to work together, to rehearse a lot. It was very important for me to rehearse, and since they do theater as well, it was normal for them to rehearse a lot. And so we had this intimacy that we could like talk a lot about the characters, like to for them to ask me questions. Oh, do you think he would do that? Do you think this is not too crazy? Do you think we should do that? So it was a great process with them. And we had also the challenge to work with a small child, the actor that does, you know, like we have many scenes when he just turned 4 years old. So it was a challenge. I had worked with kids before, but not so young as him. And then he was also in this process, in this pre-production process of being with us. And it was not rehearsing because it was a small child, but we had to make him feel comfortable with us, and he was very cute and very adorable. But yes, so we knew that he would have to sing a song, the spider song. So like, oh, we many times like, oh, we really like. Do you know what is our favorite music? Is the spider song. So we would sing the spider song again, again, again. And I think he must have thought these people are crazy. They just want to repeat this song. So it was very important, all this process. So because we shot in 24 days, so we didn't have any reshootings or anything like that. So it was important that we finished all the scenes and we had everything. So it was important to do this preparation. And then on the shooting, everything went well. And one thing that was very good for the actors was that we shot almost chronologically, so we could feel the passage of time. So we were like, okay, now the scenes of these next few days are during the first weeks of the Pink Cloud. Now it has been 1 year, now it has been 3 years. And then when we hit like 5 years, the actress was like, okay, now I think my character would be very crazy. And I was like, yes, but not so much. Like, let's think that, because I think in this type of film, you are attracted to maybe do something like they become very savage and very crazy, but it was not the intentions. It was always about their struggle to adapt and how to interact with each other in the best way, knowing that the situation is not good, that maybe it won't pass very soon.
Yeah, very remarkable. Yeah, and as viewer, you feel also the time jumps, the ellipses, which are well, like you don't see things twice, but you feel the boredom. Even though they change their haircut, they change. Giovanna, she changed all the time. She likes to change. That's something she loves. Also, the role playing. Amazing scene, very original, very original scenes. And there's something peculiar happens with time. So we are always in the ellipsis, but then you even feel like, oh, they're really in a dancing. But no, then the camera comes down and then you see the two characters, they're like, they changed. And then you feel also their prejudices towards not each other, but also other people and their jobs, like a lawyer, a writer. Very touchy scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also a scene that came up by talking with your actors, or was it something you had in your mind already a lot earlier?
So the passage of time was a challenge for us as well. Like in the beginning, some people that watched like a cut was saying, oh, maybe you should put like charts saying 1 year, 2 years, but we didn't want. And when we were editing, the pandemic had started and everyone was talking about, oh, I don't know what day it is. I don't know, it has been 1 week or 1 month. I'm really lost in time. And I think we all felt that. So like, well, it doesn't matter in the beginning if we are also a little bit lost in time during the film. Then you have people singing happy birthday to the clouds, and then you see that, oh, it has been 1 year. And then when the kid is born, well, you see the kid growing up, so it's easier. So yes, it was important also, like, how to show that they are bored, but we don't want the we don't want the viewers to be bored. We don't want a boring film. So yes, I think a lot of things happen, and you feel like it's that there is an image that the festivals are using a lot, that is just Giovanna seated on the floor and looking by the window. And I think that Sundance had chosen this image for the main photo, and I think it really represents like the boredom of being confinement and being on quarantine, just like, oh, I can't take this anymore. And sorry, you have a second part of your question.
Yeah.
There
is a lot of talking in your film, but it's very minimalistic. So it's with little lines, they ping pong. And how can it be in the same time very natural and at the same time very concise, very precise also? Was it really in the script, or did you, as you said before, we talked a lot, maybe you can add a little on that?
We didn't do much improvising. The scenes that we do some improvising, we ended up not using it. I think I like writing dialogue, and I think it's one of my strengths. I think that I'm good in like hearing people talk, and then when I write, and of course we change a little bit when we rehearse, but I think like hearing what the way people talk is important, and so the dialogue is natural. And also like seeing how different characters talk, because when Paulina, his girlfriend, she appears, she's like a totally different person than Giovanna. She's like, oh, do you like my lipstick? Oh, no. So it's like completely different than the way that we saw Giovanna talking. And you said about also about the role-playing scene and the way that they pretend that they are different characters. And I love that scene and that dialogue. It's one of it has always been one of our favorite scenes, because you get the green light and you think, oh, are they in a party? What's happening? And on the sound editing, the sound editor came with a good idea that there is sound of people talking, like we were in their minds, and oh, we finally hear like people talking like they were in a party. So we're like, oh, is there more people in the house? No, it's just them. It's just like they are trying to imagine that they are in a party and that they are in this different situation. And I think like these and the VR glasses and many things that Giovanna do, like changing her hair, like you said, it's always like she's always trying to, well, let's just pretend we are not here doing the same thing all over again. Just like trying to, it's like a battle against the cloud when she's trying to, no, you won't make me do all the things all the days repeatedly. So she's always trying to escape the way she can, because it's such a difficult situation. So the role playing, the VR glasses, the hair is all among these things that she's trying to escape in a way so she can deal with it.
Yeah, and it works very well because they're so different. Iago and Giovanna, they're very, very different. And I'm wondering what Charles Darwin would have said after seeing your film, because he said it's not the strongest or the prettiest or the smartest, but the one who can adapt best that will survive. And actually, that happens also in your film.
So yes, for us it was for the screenplay to work. I always say, well, they can't react to the cloud in the same way, and then you see that Iago, he has his flaws, and Giovanna also has hers. But like Iago, he's better at adapting, so he's like, well, let's make the best of the situation. But he's so extreme in this thought that Giovanna is, I can imagine, like, if you are in a terrible situation and you are with a person and the person is always saying, we are fine, everything is okay, like, no, like, express your feelings, like why aren't you like crazy and mad like I am? So at the same time, when they have a kid, like if they both were like Giovanna, it wouldn't be good, like because, well, the kid would be like abandoned. And at the same time, if they are both like Iago, then you don't have any conflict in the film. So yes, it's like Giovanna is always bringing this information, like, oh, did you see this fight in the supermarket when one person was killed? And he doesn't want even to hear about it. He is like, he's in this bubble. They're already in a bubble, but his bubble is even smaller because he's like, no, no, for me to be calm and happy and for me to deal with it, I don't want to hear about violence. I don't want to hear about the bad stuff happening in the world. So, and that drives Giovanna mad. So yes, his way of adapting is weird. At the same time, it works for him.
Yeah, it's eye-opening. Also, everyone will be attracted by some characteristics of both. And we see each other, we see ourselves inside them. Hopefully not as just like.
It was very funny for me, funny and weird because well, in the beginning of the pandemic, I think everyone was anxious, trying to see how they could feel better and just staying calm, because in the beginning it didn't seem real. It was like, is this really happening? And then when you feel, no, it's happening, we are entering lockdown, and this could last months, and now we know like a year. I was saying to myself some things that were aligned in the films, and I was like, oh my god, I'm just repeating the same thing. I was like, because like my sisters lives in another country, in London, and I wish I had plans to go see her. And then I was like, oh, I wish I was there. I wish I was with my sister. And then I was repeating to myself, no, you cannot think about the things that you wish you were doing. You just have to stay happy where you are. And I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what Paulina says to Iago in one scene. And I was repeating to myself. So it was very funny. And some days I just felt like Giovanna and getting crazy. And some days I was just like Iago, like, no, let's see what I have to be grateful for. And it was many things, of course. I was like safe and healthy. So, but I was oscillating between these two characters.
Yeah, very recognizable. Yeah. There's also one scene, we celebrate Iago's birthday, or the two of them celebrate it, and he starts thinking for him. That was very striking. It was the first like crack in their relationship, because it's not really couple. But he can do a wish because she has the candle. He asks, don't sing the song, please. I don't want to. It's not, it doesn't like it. And then she says, do you have to think that long to make your wish? It's obvious what you have to wish for. And it was funny how Iago was very down to earth at that point. And he was like, no, it's my wish. I can wish everything I want. And you feel Giovanna is getting like dominant more and more. She's pointing him into direction.
And after, I think they, it's for me, it was funny. This scene, it was like, oh, let's think what I want. Of course he wants the cloud to disappear. Please ask this for us. Not that she really thinks that his wish would come true. But yes, I think that, and also you have right after this scene, he's saying, because his profession, he can't work because he's a chiropractor, so he can't touch anyone. So he's like, how will I make money? Like, I have to send money to my father who is sick, and money for myself so we can order things. And she's like, no, I can help you with money, because she's working a lot because she's a web designer. So for me, it was important also like to reverse these stereotypes. Like, she's the one that is working, she is supporting then him, their kid, and his father's nurse. So it was important for me. Oh, it's not like, oh, the woman because in this film she's working and supporting the house, and he's the one who really wants to have a child. And she since the beginning she says, no, I don't want to have kids. And then after she ends up having a kid, but you feel that it's not like, oh, because she changed her mind, it's just like there is nothing else to do, let's try to have a kid, like to at least there is a new person in the house. So yes, and you see that they are so different that they keep getting more away from each other. They even separate and go to different floors.
Yeah. One thing Giovanna said, which touched me quite a lot, was when she said to, I know, when Iago said to Giovanna, it was like that, you're too pessimistic about the future to think about children.
Yeah.
Actually, that counts for everyone. If we don't believe in the future, then it's egoistic to make children. And even in this, especially in this time, it's quite, in your film as well, it feels like a bit of an egoistic thing for Iago to do.
Yeah.
To fill his life, and he says, yeah, what would you do when you're old? And then she says, it's not fair for a child to take care of his parents.
Other other thing that Iago says that I think it's terrible is like when they are arguing by the end of the film, and he says, and she says, because she's like not so close to the child, but she says, what will he do when we die? Like, what will he do with our bodies? Have you ever thought about that? And he's like, it doesn't matter, because we don't have to think about it, because we will be dead already. And she's like, oh my God, he's so selfish in a way, because he already said to convince her, oh, we should have a child, so there is someone to take care of us when we are old. And then he doesn't care what he will do with their bodies. And I think now, I hope and I believe the pandemic will end, and we'll be able to not wear masks one day again. But I think the thing that some people think nowadays, like concerning having children or not, is just like the global warming, like if things are getting worse and worse, and we are having more floods and more droughts and more everything, is one thing that I discuss with my friends, like how if things are getting really bad in like in 30 years or in 50 years, like we are kind of afraid, like how will our, I don't know, kids or grandkids to live in this planet. So yes, and it is something that Giovanna, you can see that Giovanna is more realistic in this way, like we're having a kid, but he is living alone here, and he will never know the world outside his apartment, but he doesn't care, and he always insists, and he says that their kids, he can be happy in the apartment.
Yeah. What other filmmakers are your inspirations, and what style? Because the cinematography of this film is quite sublime. It's really, really beautiful. The outside scenes are very broad and colorful. Also inside, the decoration of the house. I would love to live in the house, but not during the confinement. But yeah, it's big. It's big.
So 9 years without leaving the house.
You have a good eye. And how did you develop your very filmic?
So the DP is a close friend of mine, and I have worked with him in many things, and we did a lot of meetings with him and my assistant director. That was great, and with the art director as well, because really needed to set like what is the visual of the film, what is the aesthetic. And when they were like, oh, are you thinking like colors and skin tones like Alien, for example, like the new Alien? I was like, no, it's not this typical sci-fi film, because I think when you think about sci-fi films, you think about black and green and contrast and white and then white lights, and this was like pastel, lots of pink. And so one reference for us that was really important for us to keep in mind was Melancholia by Lars von Trier, that I love. Is one of my favorite films because, like in the Pink Cloud, there is this sci-fi element, like Planet Melancholia, and we have the Pink Cloud. But when you see like the house, the character is not like futuristic, you know, and the photography is gorgeous as well. And so for tone and like not just aesthetically, but like for the tone of the film, it was an important reference because I always had, let's think on it like as a drama, like it is a relationship drama, it's a couple drama, and there is the sci-fi element, but it's not a typical sci-fi in any way. So this was an important reference for us.
Yeah, very well one. Yeah, very good. You're one of the big group of feminine filmmakers. So at Move, it is surely not an evidence that only male filmmakers are like making exquisite films, but probably you feel also that yeah, there is a change, an upcoming change. There is a lot of brave female directors also, the development going on.
Yes, I'm so happy about it. That there was a cool article in Variety that was talking about this new wave of female Brazilian directors, and there were many names that are not doing their first film, but like have already done many features, and they were so great. And like my name was together with them, and I was so honored. But yes, and so I'm happy that I think some generations ago in Brazil, women were more in the production side. So like men were being creative, and the woman was like, yes, let's like find funding and let's make everything possible so these men can create. And now women are like, no, actually, we also want to write and to direct. And like Juliana Rojas, for example, is one that has made amazing films, and she went to Cannes already, like more than one time with her films. So of course we have also great male directors, but I think each year there are more women directors that are appearing in Brazil, and not just in Brazil. Like Sundance, they did a 50-50 this year. So 50% of the films were directed by women. So when I was like on the Zoom meetings and getting to know everyone, I was like, I've never seen so many women, because when I was doing my shorts, usually I was the only woman between like 10 men, and now so many like faces of great women. It was very nice.
You really have to be proud of that. And can we look forward to a second feature? Is there already some plans?
Yes, I'm working on it a lot. I'm writing. I like writing, so it has been great. But like in the Pink Cloud, the idea is that it is a sci-fi. There is a sci-fi element, but again, focus it on characters and focus on the emotional journey of these few characters that has this sci-fi element. And in this one, I can say there is an alien. So if I'm predicting the future again, we will have an alien visiting us.
An alien?
Yeah. I can't wait for it to be true, because we need some visits.
Oh, wow. Okay. Striking. Very nice. I hope you enjoyed the program of Move as well. A lot of other female filmmakers to discover, beautiful films about motherhood, a lot of them, and about beautiful themes, topics, worlds.
No, Move has been so great, and I have been to Belgium, and like all your tradition with like drawings and comics, and it's so great. Like I have been to I don't remember the name, but it's the museum focused on comics and drawings. So it's, yes, I wish I could be there.
Oh yeah, we miss you. But thanks a lot for this wonderful talk, and I hope everyone who was here with us enjoys the talk and remembers this very striking film, very beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Bye-bye.
Bye.